fellowship. Because all around the world, there's crabs dying, fish dying, birds dying, and black men, in our country especially, dying. Falling down in the streets. And the reason why we don't see them there is because we move them quickly. We don't move the birds and the fish and all these other animals as quickly, so we see them. But it says, all of these things shall be taken away. So the young men, and I gotta keep saying men, not because women ain't dying, because that's important as well, but just a disproportionate amount of men being killed by men. So when one fall out, next one go to jail. So that's two going. So you take that number 127 and you double it. And that's the number you're really looking at. Right? Not to say it was an exact thing, but just to get an idea, right? So some people say, yeah, Ralph, that's cool, but where's the proof? Well, 127 there, that's one. I know many fish float up on Montague the other day. Did you see that in the paper? Yeah. Dead fish. What is the Department of Fisheries saying? They really don't know. Now they can speculate, potentially there was a drop in oxygen level in the water due to overgrowth of algae because of the pollutants in the water, and therefore the fish died. Sonar testing. Yeah. So I mean, and I'm not discounting or discrediting any of those things, but because of the conditions in our land, the fish now can't even be safe in the sea. Yeah. Verse 4 says, "Yet let no man strive nor reprove another." Remember now, I tell you, these certain people, you can't. The ability to reason is not in their eyes. Let no man, what's this word strive? Struggle with, grapple with. Right? Revelation says the same thing. Let he who wants to be righteous, stay righteous. Let he who wants to be unrighteous, stay unrighteous. Let people be, because people are going to become who and what they are. You ain't going to be able to stop that. This is the day and time we in. We coming into the age of Ma'at, where the scales are being balanced. The debtor of debtors is knocking on everybody's door. Come to collect. You understand? Let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priests. Because they ain't listening to the priests of the Most High, to those that are in the scriptures, to those that are speaking truth, then they will suffer. Not that it's about the priests, but the fact of the matter is, all of those who are following the rites and the rituals and the laws and the commandments of the Most High become priests of the Most High eventually. Stick a pin there, and let's jump over to Revelation chapter 20, where we read from earlier, because we're going to see something here. Revelation chapter 20, and we can jump straight down to verse 6, because it's talking about the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Now this first resurrection, we've said it many times, we continue saying it. This word resurrection is speaking about the resurrection of spiritual truths. Certain books that you never heard about will become manifest. There's the books of the Bible. Certain things that you never heard before will be said to you. certain things that you've never done, you'll be allowed to do. You understand? And that's what this first resurrection is talking about. It says, on such the second death hath no power. So there's two deaths. You can be mentally dead. You can be dead economically. You can be spiritually dead. There's a lot of deaths with regards to a living person actually walking around and being dead, being like a zombie, being mentally dead. That's the first death. The second death is when you physically expire, and there is no coming back from that kind of death as an individual. As an individual. But it says, blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power. What does it mean by that? It means you do what? Put your life into your children and into your works, and you live on through them. So your works don't stop because they stop the physical you. So that death wouldn't have any power over you, because you're supposed to train up your children in the way that they should go, and when they get older they wouldn't depart from it. Right? Or the works that you put out there will remain. That's what T.D. Jakes was talking about it this morning. He started a corporation. A corporation is not a building. Because you could take that corporation, you could have IBM, and you could move that. Oh man, we moved the building out west now. We ain't out west, we ain't out east no more. We in the north. The founder of the corporation could pass out, die, whatever, but the company could still go on. So they ain't a person. Right? And furthermore, if somebody wanted to sue you as a person who started a corporation, they can't sue you. They got to sue the corporation, because the corporation is an entity in and of itself. So what is it? And he said it's a thought. It's a thought. Yeah? It's a thought. Right? So your works and the thoughts that you manifest by way of your works continue on even after you physically expire, if you have eaten of the resurrected spiritual knowledge that comes for those who are part of the first resurrection. It goes on to say, but they shall be priests of Nataru Elohim. They have God here. Right? Of An-Nireh, the Most High Heavenly One. And of Karast. And shall reign with him 1,000 years. So what's this word priest? Because everybody say, well, you know, I ain't no priest, or I mean, that ain't for me. I need to become no priest. You know what I'm saying? I'll come to church, but I need to be no priest. But let's look at this word priest, so you can understand what's going on. This word priest is the word he-er-you-say. This is a Greek word, right? Coming from G2413. It means a priest. Let's go to G2413, and the word there is Hurios or Hurios. Another way of saying Horus, who was a Yahshua in his day and time, and his mother Aset and father Asaru, along with the Holy Soul, did the works of the Qubtic church over 10,000 years ago. And all of those that became a part of the Karast consciousness became a part of that order of Horus. It wasn't just one person. It wasn't just males either. It was females as well. That's why when you see the statues, you see some of them with a falcon on the head. That was one of his symbols as a Horus. Right? And I'm saying that to say that as each one of you grows within the Qubtic church, you become a part of what we know as the Karast consciousness. And the Karast consciousness speaks to those that has the same consciousness as the Karast, Yahshua Karast, who we in the Qubtic church know as Tut Ankh Amun. Alright, something we'll get into as we go. Alright, so let's jump back to Hosea 4 now, because we're now in verse 4. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priests. They wrangling with the priests. They wrangling with y'all who know better and asking people to do better, and they saying, "What are you talking foolish?" So right here it's saying, don't break your leg running after people like that. What's for them is for them. Verse 5, therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night. And I will destroy thy mother. I can go right back to the root and I can nip it in the bud. I can nip it in the bud. Which prophets are these talking about? It's talking about false prophets. People are just getting up and saying things and prophesying things that don't necessarily reside in truth. Gotta reside in truth. Yeah? Verse 6. This getting to the center of the meeting now. My people are destroyed for lack of what? Knowledge. Because thou hast rejected what? Knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest. You will not be a part of the Karast consciousness. Right? To me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, of Anerei, alright, and all of the heavenly ones, I will also forget thy children. You want to know what's happened to the children? Your children have been forgotten.
That reminds me of, I can't remember where it's found, but it says, when you're presented with truth and you reject it, you'll be given a spirit of delusion that you believe a lie.
You gotta find that one. I like that. You gotta find that one, because this is what's going on. Your children have been forgotten because you reject knowledge. Because some demon was assigned to you. Not because 2 demons or 3 demons even was assigned to you, but because you rejected knowledge. Right? Because we got to show those who want to hear. Right? Those who want to hear, because right at the beginning of Hosea say, hear the word of the Lord. You got to listen. You got to listen. Because the root word of the word heart is hear. Right? And as you thinketh in your heart, so shall you be. So you got to hear. Right? So, was all of these things that's happening now already written in the Bible? Now let's see. Now I want you to believe me. Same way we testing everybody, you test me. Keep me in check. It ain't about me, about us. Go to Matthew chapter 24. We're trying to understand why the Lord, who is, I guess, in heaven, is coming from the further than the farthest star to tap somebody on their shoulder to tell them something that he already put in the book. I'm just curious. Go to Matthew 24. Alright? In the whole chapter, you should get some, if you have some time, sit down and read it. Right? But let's come right to verse 38. Because let me just, again, let's set the context now. If we jump back to Matthew 24 and 3, this is when the disciples was coming unto Yahshua, or as some would say Jesus. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world. So they trying to figure out the same thing everyone else trying to figure out. How we can know it's the end of the world? Right? And Matthew 24 goes through and is explaining what signs and what things are going to be happening at the end of the world. So we jump to 38 now. I don't have time to read the whole thing. But it says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, because you know the party was raging, right? And marrying. So this must be in the kind of marrying. It must be some other kind of marrying, eh? Because this ain't being spoken of as something that God is proud of, or that Yahshua is proud of. Drinking, eating, drinking, and marrying, and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So, just like things were before Noah, is how it's going to be now. Well, let's look at how things was when before Noah. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6. Nobody tapped me on my shoulder last night, just so you know. Genesis chapter 6. I'll just read from verse 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. This is the first group of fallen angels. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. This is the first group of fallen angels that came to earth. Because we started out reading in the original books of the Bible about this war that was in heaven. The same thing is spoken about in Revelation chapter 12. Alright? And just so we clear, you don't have to move, but I'll move. Revelation chapter 12 speaks about Revelation 12 and 7. And there was war in the heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out where? Into the earth. And his angels were cast out with him. Alright? So they landed in Genesis 6. These first group of sons of God landed right here in Genesis 6. The 200 fallen angels. Alright? And it says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them. They didn't ask them if they wanted to be with them. They said, you. Gotcha. You understand? Took them wives of all which they chose. And the reason why they use the word wife is because once that man had sex with them, they was considered their wife. Rape or not. Because they know what a man wants you. That's how it was. Alright?
No papers.
How's that? Papers, you got some other things that let you know that the man has been there. Alright? Verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days. Which means what? The reference point was little people. The original people was short. Because they saying, oh, now we got giants. They didn't say, and there was pygmies, midgets, whatever name you want to give to the original tribe of Anu, the Anu people. Right? It says there were giants in the earth in those days, and these are the people with 6 fingers and 6 toes. Yes. Yes, 6 and that's they spoken of in the book of Samuel. This Goliath, who David was fighting. 6 fingers. Yes, some people still have it because the genes still exist. This is why I'm glad you all said that.